All right, we are the Podcasting Dead. We normally talk, as you could probably guess by the name, about the Walking Dead television show and the comic, but JP and myself both being avid comic readers, we've been wanting for a while to kind of branch out and talk about different comics, and we've got a few coming down the pipe. We're going to talk about Oblivion Song later on. We'll have a podcast up about that. We want to do a Batcast, and we figured what another great comic to start talking about, being that we're on the ground level. I'm talking, of course, about Gideon Falls. I'm joined by JP. JP.
Hello.
Sorry to hog the mic there for a minute.
No,
had a lot
Image
to
is dropping so much good stuff right now.
I think I've told you, and you are probably the same way. I think I have more Image titles in my box right now, which I read a lot. I read a lot of different Marvel and DC, but you are the comic connoisseur. So I don't know if you have more Image than, but I know that I have more Image in my box now than I do Marvel or DC.
I've still got it's still mostly Marvel, but I think DC and my Image stuff is running neck and neck. For sure.
Image is really just. I'm just really liking the different type of stuff that I'm seeing.
Oh,
from
yeah,
Image.
it's so diverse. Yeah, I mean, right now I'm getting a Black Science Saga. I read that in trade paperback. Paper Girls, fantastic. I mean, just it's so...
Black Monday Murders.
Yeah, of course. The creators just have so much control over everything they put out. I mean, it doesn't get any better.
And now answer me this. Is that why sometimes it takes a while to get issues? You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
Is it because they're not really pushed as hard for a deadline, but as a result you get a lot better creative?
Yeah, absolutely.
More creativity is allowed to flow rather than forced for a deadline.
And that's why so many of the top creators right now are going to Image,
Just the freedom to write your story.
Universe, yep.
We're talking about Gideon Falls. This is issue 2 just dropped yesterday. We were going to do issue 1, but we both actually work in radio, and JP works somewhere else as well. So we've been a little pressed for time. We've had holidays.
Sure.
It's been a lot of things going on, but we finally have arrived here. And I don't know about you, JP, but I'm really digging Gideon Falls right now.
God, that's such a creepy... small town and big town. I don't know, man. It's a lot going on.
I'm really liking the kind of, I don't want to compare it so much to Silent Hill, but it does have that kind of vibe. I mean, the Black Barn. That's the big question. What's up with the Black Barn?
What's in that barn? Yeah.
Any predictions?
Tobacco hanging up in there.
I don't think there's no bacca hanging up.
No.
Do you think perhaps this barn is a gateway to another dimension, or it's,
it seems you certainly get glimpses of it. So it's there, but it's not there. Maybe some sort of interdimensional, like you're saying,
It could be like a hub, what I mean, connects this to some dark dimension. We thought the former pastor had been long dead, they thought he had drowned, but then they just found his body, which I love the twists, in this. Obviously, I didn't say this beforehand. I probably should have, but spoilers. But if you haven't read issues 1 or 2 yet, then maybe don't go forward till after you do. But I'm just loving the little twists and turns. It's they thought that this preacher was drowned, but then they find him, and he's only been dead for like an hour.
Yeah, and he pops up in priest's Fred's bedroom window, and the priest Fred, Father Fred, I guess would be a more accurate term. He likes the hooch. He likes to get his wet his whistle a little.
He's got a dark past.
Yeah. But I mean
that he's kind of running from, but
yeah. And drinking's never made me hallucinate. So when he's explaining to the cops, what's having a couple of nightcaps have to do with me seeing this, priest you thought was drowned, have to do with anything, which I can certainly relate to.
You find yourself in that situation before?
Yeah, but
well, I'm just wondering. Okay, I'm wondering. And it's just so many questions, and that's what I love about a series like this, is it creates so many questions, and that's half the fun and the journey of reading it is asking all of these questions. But I'm wondering, was that the preacher actually that he saw? Was that like another dimension preacher, or was that like something
going on?
Right, manifesting as the preacher? It's so many questions going into this.
Well, they certainly have a physical body, So,
yeah, and he's only been dead for like an hour.
Right.
up to this point.
They thought he had drowned. Yeah, they found his car and some belongings in the river or whatever. So
how about that twist at the end where his psychiatrist or therapist falls down and then she sees the black barn in the middle of the city? Like you said before we came on here, man, that was a great way to end that issue.
Yeah, she thought old Norton had lost his marbles. It was his doctor, so of course, I don't know if he's supposedly has schizophrenia or paranoia. I don't know what she's diagnosed him with, but
he's definitely got some signs too of like obsessive compulsive, just in his need to want to check the trash because he thinks, and he's picking up nails and wood that he thinks comes from this black barn. And as it's definitely been done before in other stories, everyone thinks he's crazy, but it turns out that he's not so crazy. And he and Father Fred are connected and just don't even realize it yet. And I love stories that do that. You're seeing the story from two different, I guess, points of view, you could say, and they don't even realize that their paths are leading them to each other at some point.
Yeah, that's the scariest thing about mental illness. Part of you's thinking, what if just a little bit of what they're saying is there's some truth to it? Like my great aunt Ruby's paranoid schizophrenic, thinks, demons are hanging out up in her kitchen and stuff. And I'm just thinking, what if there's something legitimate that's giving her that idea? I was listening to a podcast last night. They were interviewing someone about the black-eyed children. And, you're just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. I've always said, what if they're not the crazy ones? What if,
exactly.
What if there's more to it? I know that mental illness is a very real and serious thing, but you sometimes wonder with things like that. Or they're like, the government's watching me, or we've heard of government experiments on people before. We know that they've done. If you've never read about it, just Google the declassified things that the government's admitted they've basically experimented on general population and stuff. It's alarming, and maybe the government is bugging them. Maybe they're messing with mine. Except for what's his name, Randy Quaid. Right. Was he the one that played? Yeah. Now he's just batshit crazy, I think.
That could be.
Have you ever seen any of his stuff where he thinks the government's coming after him, and he and his wife have been running from the government and just?
I'm sure I have. That sounds very like 90s. Oh, he was Independence Day, right?
Yeah, he was Independence Day, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah,
he plays but yeah. Now I just think he's either looking, but I don't know. Who am I to pass judgment? Maybe the government really is.
Yeah, after him. Who's to say just who can perceive things just below the surface that not necessarily everyone can.
Yeah, and that's kind of the questions raised in Gideon Falls, which makes it such a cool series, because we know that Norton isn't crazy, but to the outside world, he certainly seems. It's going to be interesting to see how his therapist, because she was getting ready to have him admit it last time we saw them together. She didn't think it was safe for him to be on his own, but now she's seen this black barn, and it makes me wonder too. How does that work? Do you have someone, that's pulling the strings, allowing her to see it now? Or is it kind of like a disease where you can pass it on to kind of like it follows, You don't have to have sex with them, but you pass this.
It certainly helps, though. But no, he did warn her, remember? He was looking for that bit of whatever in the trash under the bench, and he was like, look, if I start telling you about this, you're probably going to be in danger. So
that's very true, yeah.
Apparently, the more aware you are of it, the easier it is to pick up. I don't know.
It's kind of like with people that, that see ghosts. They say the more you believe in it, the more receptive you are, which could just mean the more likely you're to confuse something with a ghost. But kind of the guidelines it seems they're going with here. Once you know about it, like I said, it's kind of like The Grudge or It Follows. Like It Follows, of course, you have to have sex with somebody and then it's passed on to you. But in The Grudge, remember in The Grudge, all the girl had to do was see you, and basically she would hunt you down.
Oh, good grief!
Did you ever watch The Grudge?
I don't watch a lot of supernatural.
Lucky you, The Grudge, man. In hindsight, it's kind of cheesy, but I'm not gonna lie. When it came out, man, it's like the only movie I've ever been in theaters with a girl. And, normally try to be all macho and this isn't scaring me, even though I'm dying on the inside.
Right.
This time I have my hand over my face. I'm like, can't do it. But that's her thing.
Sleep's the one thing I enjoy in life, so I try to, I don't want to be kept up with that.
But that's kind of her thing. She sees you and then she follows you and kills you. I know someone could be like, why in the hell are you comparing The Grudge to Gideon Falls? But I'm just saying, it's like once you become aware of it, now you're a part of it, is what it seems like they're doing with this.
Yeah.
But I like it. I know there's really not that much to discuss on it yet. We're only 2 issues in, and they're not terribly long comics. I mean, but I've really enjoyed the 2 that we've got so far. Image, Oblivion Song has been really good. I'm just really digging my Image titles right now.
Yeah, and Jeff Lemire, I hope I'm saying that right. I just got into his run on Thanos that actually just wrapped up this week, I believe. And or it's getting ready to wrap up, and just everything he touched, man, is just dynamite.
That run of Thanos is supposed to be really good. I don't have that in my box, but was that only like a 10-issue run or something?
Something like that. I know 2 trades are out. I've got the first one. I just started that. I don't know how I missed it. Usually when he's on something, I grab it. But
you're talking about the Thanos that's running now, the current.
Yeah.
See, I started to get in on that, but then my box was just so full, and I just needed to cut back a little bit, so I didn't get it. But I've heard it's a good run.
Oh yeah.
And a good run here on Gideon Falls thus far. A lot of people were excited with that team because it's Old Man Logan?
Yeah, I did read his run on that. Really good stuff, really dark. He didn't reincorporate. He incorporated Old Man Logan into the main Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some really good stuff there. Definitely worth a read.
Yeah, so far I'm really enjoying. Are we going to do rating? Because if you this is your first podcast listening to us, we don't really have a format. So sorry for it being kind of we're just more of discussion than a format. But on our other podcasts, we rate at least the episodes of The Walking Dead. Do we rate The Walking Dead comics by issue?
They've all been so good lately. Right. I don't think we've really seen a need.
Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely, which I hope you haven't gotten this far into it and you haven't read it yet, unless you're one of those people that just doesn't mind spoilers. But if you haven't read it, and go get it. I think this is going to be a great series. I could definitely see it spawning some kind of show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or a movie down the road. I think the way that the issues are going, it seems like it'd be a really good show, kind of like a Twin Peaks type feel, like, just kind of like this increasing sense of dread.
Yeah, it seems
every
like
episode.
Just about every comic now, they're trying to format it as if it could be a TV show. Which, hey, I'm not mad at that.
It's a good point. Yeah, it's written so that someone could take this and translate it into a show. Which granted they do it right. It's a really cool thing.
Yeah,
which we know sometimes writings are butchered when they're put on a screen, but
yeah, and a lot of these comic writers are bouncing between TV shows and comics and vice versa. You're like Brian K. Vaughan on Paper Girls and Saga. He's your boy on Lost. And that's one of your favorite shows.
I love Lost.
He was a big part of that.
Plenty of flaws, but I love Lost. But yeah, so we're going to be discussing this as it goes. Like I said, right now, I'm sure there's some little details that we pretty much do more of just discussion and a review. And as far as the review part, I love it. I was a big Silent Hill fan growing up, and I know that this isn't, as someone can say, but it's just got that mysterious dread to it. Is why I'm comparing it to something like Silent Hill. Like there's just something lurking beneath the surface, and it's slowly revealing itself, and that's just kind of why I compare it to Silent Hill. But good series. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really excited to see where this is going to go.
Yeah, and I'm really glad the psychiatrist went ahead and saw the barn, so we're not like strung out, issues.
Right?
And
yeah.
Issues, she's
of her thinking he's crazy and having to deal with him being admitted. Then and like no, now she's straight up like holy hell.
Yeah, we're jumping right in. Kind of reminds me of the psychiatrist from 12 Monkeys, the movie. I haven't watched the TV show.
Right.
But.
So, yeah, really enjoying it. Hopefully you have enjoyed it so far. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll be talking more about comics. Like I said, we normally do more TV show reviews, but now we're going to really start getting into the comic reviews. So we'll get better as we go. We're just more, like I said, more or less just discussing the issues like you would if you were sitting down talking to a friend. If you're like JP and myself and you kind of are in an area where not so many people read comics, sometimes it's rare that you find someone you can discuss them with.
Yeah.
So
and this morning was kind of a sporadic thing. We're just like, man, Gideon Falls was awesome. Why don't we talk about that for a while? So it's a little scatterbrained, but
but we'll get there. But so make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and come back for more comics. We're going to do Gideon Falls. We're going to do Oblivion Song. Those two titles are screwing me up. I keep saying Oblivion Falls and Gideon Song and Gideon Oblivion. Yeah. But would go ahead and do a Oblivion Song, but we've got another guy that podcasts about the show with us, And he, I think, started picking up Oblivion song. So we're going to see if he's reading that. We want to include him. So we'll wait for him, and then we'll get on the ball with talking about that. But so yeah, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and we'll catch you back here on the internet sooner than later.
Yeah, same bat time, same bat channel, even though we're not talking about Batman.
JP wants a Batcast so bad.
We'll get there.
Once again, I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we'll catch you soon.